Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. It is I, Ardell, where I take you on a journey to capture the vision of my life in hopes to inspire you to do the exact same thing. If you are new to my channel, please remember to subscribe to my channel and click that gray bell to be notified the moment I upload another video every Wednesday and also just whenever I feel like it. Today's gonna be personal and it's gonna be just the emotional side of ADHD. And I'm also going to take you with me on my journey to therapy. First of all, I need to leave in like 10 minutes. So I'm like, do I have really a lot of time to just sit here and blab? No, but in my ADHD brain, I do. Let's check my watch. I have about 12 minutes before I gotta go. I just wanted to be vulnerable and just share with you the fact that today I had a really hard day with emotions for the first time in a long time. It kind of took me aback that I didn't see it coming. And my word of the year is humor this year. So find the funny. Where is the funny in this? The fact that I was so dramatic today, I actually quite literally felt like I was an SNL skit. If you follow me on Instagram, you already know this story. Go check me out there. But today was a laugh and cry at the same time kind of day. It did get comical at the end of it, but at the same time, I'm a very emotional person and I don't always show it on my YouTube channel. I think because I have a hard time not just wanting to be silly Billy. But in my personal life, like I definitely have the sobathons and the cry-capades. Not all the time, but today it hit me by storm. So I was like, well, why not vlog about the most vulnerable things in my life, which is disappointment in myself, which I'm trying to actively let go of. But I'm remembering my thought, hey, pat myself on the back. Instead of being proud and appreciating the things I do accomplish, I catch myself, as a lot of us humans do, just only focusing on the negative. There's so much that our body is equipped with. So instead of being mad at myself and angry at the way my brain was wired and the way my body's wired, I was like, you know what? It is what it is, you know? Cheers to having ADHD and having dramatic days. I don't know if this rant has a major point. Let's go with me to therapy. And I need to hurry up and take a quick shower because after going to the gym, actually I smell really good, but I do know that I need to bathe real quick. So let's go. I actually am a firm believer in respecting other people's time. So let's see if I can hurry the flockety flock up and get out of here in 3 minutes. Where are my keys? My keys. Gosh, I hope I'm not late. Oh, my coffee. Just gonna take a sip. Day in the life of ADHD. Ha, my sword. Oh, I just tripped. Oh, my legs hurt. Let's go. Onward. Yeah, country roads take me home to the place that I love, West Virginia, Mountain Mama, country roads take me home. Okay, we are here. Time to get to therapy, and I'm not bringing my coat, and I regret not bringing my coat. I thought I didn't want to be bothered with it, but I realized, you know what? The sun's setting, and I might regret that decision. So, time to go to therapy. Ow, 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 ow. Oh, I realize I have to go pee. Oh, maybe this might help somebody. Vlogging while running late is gonna result in some really amazing cinematography. I can just feel it. So I'm editing right now, and what I'm about to share with you may be shocking. I'm kidding, but the next footage is actual raw footage of my therapy session. I did not know that it was recording, so this is my authentic self. I was going to record and tempted to record, but decided against it for the sake of not being my authentic self in therapy. Believe me or don't believe me, I obviously would like for you to believe me because it's the truth, but this is me in therapy not knowing I was being recorded. But I also cut out as much as I can my therapist's voice and the questions he asks me and how he guides me through therapy. But you can see the overall story of the hour-long session. So I really hope that you might see and sense and feel the vulnerability and the work that's being done. Exhausted. exhausted by it. It's exhausting. It's like part of my identity. I feel like I've just been exhausted for so long, but I just keep it. I don't know. It just feels familiar. Bring curiosity and patience to the exhausted part. If there's anything that the exhausted part wants me to know. I just looked up and there's a book that says longing to know. I think the only thing that comes to mind, and I'm going to try to articulate this as clearly as I can, is I think I'm exhausted of not like knowing how to be myself and just being myself and letting other people be annoyed at me or mad at me or angry at me. I think I'm exhausted because I'm like constantly trying to be for other people everything everybody wants me to be. I'm exhausted because I'm striving so hard to be everything I think I should be. Tell the exhausted part of me to step back. The exhausted part says, well, I don't know if the exhausted part is blocking me because I'm exhausted because I'm tired of hiding or protecting me. The exhausted part is tired of protecting me or blocking me from people. It's okay to be exhausted. You don't need to ignore it. I guess it's like it would like for me to have true rest. I'm afraid to show up as like my true authentic self. So I'm constantly trying to figure out how to not. So then there's a part of me that's always like deep down inside. I don't know. I think I can approach the critical side of me. It wants the best for me, and that I'm actually doing a decent job at things. The word that comes to mind is, which reminds me of just my ADHD, like perfectionism. Like, I'm not, like, my life doesn't reflect my desire for perfection, but I definitely think that I have a perfectionistic side in me. And so because I quit a lot of things, I never perfect much. So my critical side is just constantly like noticing how things could be better as opposed to just appreciating my ongoing efforts to keep trying new things. I don't know, I don't catch when the perfection side comes back up or the critical side comes back up. It's like before I know it, I'm just like taken down by it and I don't even know how it got that way. And then sometimes I have to actively be like, oh my fucking God, who cares? Because I love being honest and real, but I have a hard time sticking to it. I know it's there. The critical part? Sure. That sounded unsure, didn't it? I think that was literally like, it's not going to go away, the critical part. I'm saying it towards it, like, why even send it off? It's just going to be right there. I think that was me being like, sure, I'll approach it with curiosity. Like, It's like I'm already, like, catching myself being, like, resigned to accept that it's always going to be there. I don't know. It's like I'm super critical of myself, and then I subconsciously am super critical of others. So what comes first? Self-criticism or criticism of others? Like, maybe I'm a more critical person than I realize. I just keep thinking the feeling of like not being enough. So do more, be more, that to be enough. I'm just not enough. Just the way I am. I think up until now it felt necessary. Yeah, because I don't think I've ever identified that I'm critical because I don't think I'm enough. Because I keep trying to like mantra my way through enoughness, and I think it's maybe like having a job you hate but you can't quit. Yeah, it's like a prison guard or. Interesting I said that. I don't know what the phrase is, but be like champion. Yeah, like be my role model, or what's the word? What's the opposite of like a jailhouse? I don't even know what the word is. Mentor. The first time to acknowledge it, to understand it, and to realize it's there because it is trying to help me be enough, but it knows that it doesn't like its job and it really would rather be my mentor. Sorry, wow. It's so funny that people hide their face when they're crying. I'm always like, why do you do that? How much time do we have? Okay, good. Thank you for the update. Because if it would have been like right here, you're like, we're done, I would have been like, oh. I think like, you know, vulnerable about it, but like to let go of something that it's been for so long is like almost like a relief, but at the same time, like a relief and exciting and like a good scare. Like, you know, fear isn't always all bad. So like nervous, or I don't know, definitely needs a shift, like shifting my critical side to a mentor side. Real excited, like actually actively very excited. Good. I'm excited. I already have to go to the restroom again. I knew that if I didn't go, even though I was running a little late, that I would just be sitting in here being like, I gotta pee. Oh, what a powerful therapy session. I think that's literally like the most ridiculously intense therapy session I've ever had that actually like included work, and it wasn't just me talking about my life, but me actually working through just me. It's so worth it to work on yourself, because I realized, one, I still don't believe in my enoughness because I thought I did, and two, I'm wanting to so work on being enough because I think that everybody else is enough, and I want all of us to realize how enough we are. I'm gonna go home and then I'm gonna conclude this video, and look, it's the moon, and then there's the sunset. And by the way, just right now I was filming myself and I didn't realize it was me filming myself for a text message video, and I almost sent it to like a random coworker of me talking about my therapy session. How do you explain that? So after filming and heading home, I did need a moment to check out and to kind of mentally review everything that I had experienced. And I did not realize it was filming. And I decided to put it in this video to expose my vulnerability in a way that hopefully inspires you to do the work. It's painful, it's raw, it's hard, it's difficult, it's uncomfortable, but it's worth it. And today was the best therapy session I've ever had. That sounds really weird, but I actually could feel that I was doing work and I was engaging with the internal parts of the way I functioned. And maybe it's because I've done a lot of years of therapy that I was ready to get down to work, although I've always been willing to work on myself. Years ago when I got saved, if you've seen that video, you can watch my testimony right here. I never know which side to pick, so I'm just gonna be that person that says this. But you could watch the video of my testimony right away. In my heart, I believe it was God. I knew I needed to go to therapy. I knew I was functioning just not in a healthy way for myself. And I feel like God loves me enough to want me to seek and get and find help. And I did that. Immediately I did that, and I found an amazing therapist, and I was with her for a couple of years. Then I moved back to the Midwest because I was in California at the time, and I got a therapist in person. I didn't like her, which is okay. You're not gonna maybe like every therapist you have. Keep trying to find one that you connect with. Then I tried to go to another therapist. We connected somewhat, and I remember just thinking it was better than nothing. Well, I stopped seeing her and she never reached out, which is fine. Then I got a therapist through an online app. It was actually a Christian-based online app where you call in your therapy sessions. And I actually loved her. And she was a therapist that kind of was like, maybe you do have ADHD, because that was when I started wondering if I had ADHD, and she had ADHD. And she's like, I actually think there's a good chance that you do. And if you need somebody to back you up by getting diagnosed, I don't know why I've never thought to share this with you, but she really highly considered me having ADHD, and she said she would back me up and she would vouch for me basically as a professional counselor. And I ended up you paid a certain monthly fee and you were able to have a certain amount of hourly phone calls a week. I think it was 1, maybe 2 max, and then you were able to have email support, and there was a maximum of those as well. And I loved her, but I couldn't afford it, so I stopped seeing her. Then I didn't go to therapy for a while. Then I had a difficult situation that brought me back to wanting to have a therapist, and I ended up finding that one therapist that I had that she kind of stopped reaching out to me because I called around and they were like, well, we have this one therapist. And I was like, that was my therapist. So I went back to her and it just didn't work. And I was still struggling to find a therapist. In the meantime, I had signed up and filled out information to get involved in a free therapy program through a college, which I definitely recommend that be something that you do if you don't have the resources to pay for therapy, because it can be really expensive, as I found out, because I ended up going to a different therapist. While I was in therapy with her, I started catching myself being like, why am I paying all this money when all I'm thinking about is how stressed I am? I couldn't tell, I couldn't decide if I was making the right decision and if it was the therapist for me. I was overthinking it. It wasn't that big of a deal, and it was out of my price range, and maybe one day I can go back to her because she was amazing. But in the meantime, luck would have it, or fate would have it, that I ended up getting a phone call from that organization in college that I signed up for that I completely forgot about, and they had a therapist for me. When I signed up for them, they said, do you want a female or a male? They asked a lot of questions about, what you're looking for. And I had not wanted a male. I just didn't even consider it, which is crazy. But they said that they had somebody that they thought would really work good for me based on my needs and what I had filled out in my intake form, which I don't even remember what I said. But she's like, I really think that he would be a good fit for you. And I just trusted it, and it was free. And I was like, you know what? Who am I to judge going into something what would or wouldn't work for me and what will or will not bring great change? And honestly, I was excited, and I said, yes, sign me up. Again, it's free. So going into therapy, I just realized that with a male and a female therapist, you bring a different side of yourself, and not in any other way other than the therapist, being a male or female, also receives it differently, your information. And I don't know, there's something about this therapist that was really good and is bringing just a side of myself out that I kind of wasn't aware of. And I'm really grateful for it. I don't think that there's a pro or con to either or. I think it's just different. And I'm really grateful for all the work I've done in the years past. And I'm grateful for the work I'm doing now. And I'm making this video to say, whether you do or don't have ADHD, I recommend you get a therapist. I understand that there's a lot of, different perspectives on therapy. And I don't think everybody needs to be in therapy forever. I think that everybody could stand to learn something about themselves by going to therapy. I think it's just one step closer to self-awareness. This is my opinion. Take it or leave it. I realized today one thing, which I've known, but it really struck hard today. I still do not sit and live in my I'm enoughness. And that is something that I really, really, really want to embrace and realize that I am my own mentor. I've had this critical side of me that is super judgmental that I think subconsciously thought that it needed to be, because I was living a life of striving for an unattainable perfection, that critiquing side of me kept being like, you could do better, but man, it was never enough. And so to change that role today with my therapist, to thank the critical side of me and be like, you did your job, but why don't you start mentoring me? That was the shift that was made today, and it blew my mind. It blew my mind. I absolutely loved the hard work and the tears and the striving that I did today, and it didn't earn my enoughness. I realized it revealed my enoughness. So, that sounded like goofy. I love it. I love everything that I learned today, and I don't want to hold back revealing this, because I just have a small feeling it might help one person. And if it helps one person, it's worth it. Thank you for watching this video. That is the fact jack for my life today. If you like this video, please let me know your thoughts, questions, comments, concerns in the section below. I always love hearing from you. I try to get back to you as soon as I can. Please give this video one big thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel and click that little gray bell to be notified the moment I upload another video every Wednesday and whenever I can. And please know that you are in my prayers. And have a good, wonderful rest of your week. I will see you next time. The camera was over here. Bye-bye.